Hi. No one's here yet. 0 viewers so far.
That's unbelievable. I can't believe it.
No talking.
They can watch the link, right?
Okay, so we are here today to share our This I Believe essays. So welcome to our classroom. We're so glad you're here, and we look forward to sharing these with you today. Okay, wait till I get on you.
I believe that being positive through bad times can give you a small glimmer of hope that you will be all right. I woke up in the morning with an aching wrist, but what I didn't know was that I was going to learn a lot about being positive and having a glimmer of hope. At this point, I had been having pain in my wrist for 7 days. Today, I had to go to a doctor's appointment after my x-ray that I had yesterday on my half birthday. At the doctor's, he said that I had to go to the hospital to have an MRI because they couldn't see what was happening in the x-ray. On the way home from the MRI, we got a call from the doctor. He said I had to go to the hospital right away to have surgery because I had a staph infection in my wrist, and if we didn't get it out of me right away, it could be way worse. I had a hard day, but pulled myself together by being positive and believing everything was going to be all right. Although I didn't know what a staph infection was, I was terror-stricken of what it was and how it was going to affect me. My mom and I, were driving to the hospital. I had no idea what was wrong with me and was imagining the worst possible things. But that just made me more petrified and hesitant about the surgery. My mom tried explaining what it was, but that just made me worry and imagine if it was serious and if it was, how I was going to continue in my activities. As I was thinking about all the bad possible answers to my questions, I knew I had to pull myself together and be positive for the sake of my parents, even though I was petrified about this. I had to believe I was going to be okay and see there was hope, even though it was just a small glimmer. After that experience, I now always try to be positive and believe that there is a chance of being all right and a glimmer of hope no matter how small. I think back to that experience whenever I'm going through tough times and know I have to be strong. I know I have to be positive even though it is hard, like when I had tendonitis in my Achilles. I thought back to this experience and knew I had to have hope. My staph infection has changed my actions and attitude towards things tremendously by giving me the act of always being positive and finding a way to look on the bright side. Even now, I am scared about what happened, but am very grateful it wasn't worse and didn't hurt me more. Although I wasn't that young, I didn't know much about what a staph infection was, but I have learned more about it as I got older. There is 2 types of staph infections. One of them is more likely to kill you, and I was very lucky and had the one that is less likely to kill you. Had I had the other kind, I might have died and wouldn't be here today. I also could have had my arm cut off and wouldn't be able to do gymnastics anymore. But if they had not done the MRI and found out what it was that fast, it could have been way worse than it was. I am very grateful that it wasn't worse, and I am still able to do everything I used to do and am fully healthy. I believe that if you are positive and strong through hard situations, you will see glimmers of hope. It might be easy to see them or hard, and you might really have to look to find it.
I believe that having self-confidence will lead to great success. I was honored by the request to be spokesperson for my school and was smiling on the outside, but on the inside I knew that I would have to learn a lesson in self-confidence so this outstanding task could be successful. I woke up one morning and was frantically running my speech through my head. I was dreading going to school because I have to present this speech to all of the principals in the Waukee district. Finally, the time came to do it. In my mind, I told myself that I can do it and that it'll be amazing. During this speech, I had to use my self-confidence, and it worked. When it was over, I was told millions of times that I was confident when I spoke. From this, I learned that if I believe in myself, I can take on any obstacle, and using my self-confidence will lead to the great success I need. I have realized how one day can change your feelings of worry to feelings of confidence and make you realize that you can do it. I remember standing up to present. I was overwhelmed with all the people looking at me and was anxious to get it done. As soon as I started speaking, I realized that I could do it and told myself that I could do it and that I would also do great. After I told myself that, I let a weight roll off my shoulders and lost all of the tension in my body. I felt confident and did great. This whole experience set a whirl of feelings in my body, and I pushed forward, proving that I had to have self-confidence to be successful at this daunting task. From now on, when I'm worried or nervous, I take myself back to that day at school and show myself that I can do it and confidence will push me through. I have used self-confidence in difficult and hard times to tell myself that I can do it and that I am capable of anything. When I do this, I have great success. I look back at that day and I am proud that I did what I did and realize that if I did not have confidence, I would not be where I am today. I feel that I am successful today because of that one day at school, and I feel proud of what I've done. I'm very happy that I took that opportunity. So when I look back at that crazy, overwhelming, exciting, and successful day, I know how to have immense self-confidence to push me through any time. I look back at that whirlwind of a day and now feel proud and accomplished about what I did. I believe that in hard times, self-confidence will push you through and make you realize that you can do it. When you surround yourself with loads of self-confidence, you'll be successful at any task. I believe that honesty is the most important thing to do. I was just sitting there with Katie, not having any idea on the lesson on honesty I was about to receive. I was at my grandparents' house along with my sister, Claire, and cousins, Katie and Billy, sitting on the couch. We were in the basement with the adults all upstairs. Katie and I were doing rainbow loom on the couch, sitting down, since we were not allowed to jump on the fragile couches. Across the room, Billy and Claire were running around. They jumped off the couch in front of us multiple times, trying to turn off and on the hanging light since we could not reach it. Katie and I took them off, but being the silly people I love and know, said that we were not the boss of them. Katie and I knew better than to get in the way of their silliness, so we continued talking together. After a while of their jumping, bouncing, and running, we heard a crack. We all froze in fear after jumping to each other to make sure everyone was okay. Soon, we saw that the adults had not heard it. It must have come from the basement. We had to find it in case something had happened. Fright ran through my body and as a shiver went down my spine. The lights were out since Billy and Claire had been jumping to them. Suddenly it hit me. I jumped from my seat and bent down on the floor in front of the couch Billy and Claire jumped off of. I saw the sight and showed it to my cousins and sister. A piece of wood from one of the planks holding the couch up was broken. Luckily for us, it was not the entire plank, and it was small, but not small enough to ignore it. Katie and I knelt in front of the couch and stayed quiet. We had no idea that Claire had gone upstairs to tell her grandma what happened. Katie and I were sitting on the couch and Billy rolling on the floor. Then Claire and grandma walked in. It was a surprise when she looked under the couch to see what it was, with nothing said. I was nervous. Claire and Billy meant no harm. Then grandma did something I would never expected. She smiled. She said, "Thank you for being honest. Now this won't hurt us unless you jump off it more, so let's stay on the floor for now." And with that, she left, probably to tell her parents. We then settled down, going outside to run like the wind however we wanted. I learned that when being honest about something you did wrong, you won't be in as much trouble as when you were lying about it. I felt scared, apprehensive, and joyful all in the same second, with a hint of confusion in the middle. When I learned that loud crack, I was nearly scared to death. I had no idea what was going on. I looked around the room with a shiver went down my spine. When Grandma came in the room, I was curious, but knew exactly what was going on. Both fear and joy ran through me as I put everything down. The pressure of the couch breaking was off my shoulders, but I was scared of the punishment we could receive. I was shocked, confused, and curious when my grandma smiled. What did she mean? But when she told us her reasoning, everything straightened out. I was then hit by honesty and the power of words. I had felt things that just came at me, but they all helped me to understand honesty. Honesty has helped me through many things and gained the trust of many people throughout my life. I was always an honest person, but at the time I did not know I was really being honest. Until I was taught, of course. I have used honesty in many ways since I have had that honesty lesson. When you have honesty, people trust you. They will take the time to listen to what you say, knowing it's true, unless you're telling a story. You have a better chance of being trusted when you have honesty. Honesty is policy, and I have evidence to prove it. This lesson has impacted my life in many ways. It has helped me decide good and hard decisions. I hope I can stay honest. It is a really good thing to have. Now looking back, I feel so proud that my sister was able to be honest and live up to what happened. I'm so proud of my sister for doing the right thing and being honest. She was not afraid of getting in trouble and did not ignore what happened. Whenever I feel about lying about something, I just remember my sister, Claire. I'm so proud of her and will always remember her when I need to be honest. I'm so grateful of my sister for being honest, even if she would get in trouble. I believe that when being honest, you feel better about when you lie.
We have 5 people that are watching us right now, so that's super exciting. So it shows me how many people are logged on. So there are people watching it. So. And when you get done, I'm going to give you your sheet to answer a few questions at the bottom. So that's what I'm doing. I'm coming up to people.
I believe that working hard and being determined can help you in life's challenges. I didn't know how I was going to do that day at math, but it wasn't a normal day. I was going to learn a lesson on determination. I woke up that morning still feeling asleep, but I had a shock when I remembered that I had a big math competition that day. I ran into the bathroom and took a quick shower. The competition wasn't until 1 o'clock, but I wanted to practice. I'd been practicing 30 minutes a day for the last week. My mom and dad were telling me I didn't have to practice, but I wanted to. My determination helped me get 4th place in the competition, and I'm happy I was determined to practice. As a result, I learned that my worries can be changed to happiness by using the important lesson of determination. I was worried that day that my determination would not pay off. I was worried I would not do as well as I wanted to. I was determined, and it did help me that day. Happiness was running through my veins as we drove home because I worked so hard and was determined. Feelings of agony turned to happiness as I did well in the competition and learned a lesson in determination. Determination has affected how I do many things to this day. It has helped me to always remember to stay focused and work hard. Now, if I can, I will study or work hard before a test. Recently, I had a math test in school. I was determined, worked hard, and did well on the test. Today, I always remember to use determination in my life. Now, when I look back on the story, I am proud that I was determined and worked hard. I worked hard and was determined that day. Now I can use determination when I'm doing math homework or a science project. At times when I learn new things, I have to just stay determined and work on it. That day made me proud of my hard work. I still look back and remember that day. That's why I believe that working hard and being determined can help you in life's difficulties.
I believe that once you put your mind to something, that it can be done if you have determination. I recognized that determination was with me on the day of select soccer tryouts. I would learn a lesson about determination. That morning, I woke up with butterflies in my stomach. I ate a big breakfast and I got dressed. Our tryouts were at the Waukee High School football field, so the car ride was about 10 minutes. When I stepped onto the high school football field for soccer tryouts, I knew that I would make it if I had determination. That day 1 year ago, I remember feeling nervous but excited, knowing I would do good, but still a chance that I would not make it. I had to do good. I went all out. After I raced down the field with the ball at my feet, I scored the first goal. I knew that after the first goal, I was going to do fine. I learned a lesson about determination that day. It showed me through determination anything is possible. After that day, determination has helped me through different situations. Determination helped me through another soccer problem. Last year, I really wanted to be on top team. My coach told me that I would have to work my hardest throughout the week. That week, through using determination, I worked my hardest and won a spot on the top team. That one day long ago taught me the lesson of determination, but it also taught me how to use it in other situations. Now I feel satisfied about the lesson I learned in determination, and I know if I am determined, I can achieve anything. Since I learned that the key to success is determination, and everything I do now, if I don't get it, I just think of soccer tryouts, and I think I was this close to giving up. But instead, by having the lesson in determination, I have learned that determination can help you in any situation. I feel that the lesson of determination has helped me through tough situations throughout my life. I feel that determination is the key to success.
I believe that if you hope for something enough, your dreams can come true. I learned about hope and love from my new best friend and sneaky parents. I've wanted a dog ever since I knew what it was called, but me and my mom were allergic, so they thought it would be too hard to have 4 kids and a dog. So we started by dog sitting, then we started fostering. First we fostered an adorable black lab puppy named Sadie, but we couldn't keep her. She was very rambunctious, but we loved Sadie. She was adorable and loved everything in the world. On our second try, we fostered a 3-year-old beagle mix named Buddy. He was perfect, and I knew he was the dog for us. When I came home from school one day, the pet shelter's van was in the driveway. I thought somebody else wanted to adopt Buddy. My heart dropped, but when we got inside, I figured out that we were adopting him. I was so happy. Now he sleeps with me every night and plays games and always gives a warm welcome when I come home. This is how I learned about hope and love from sneaky parents and a furry friend. It made me know that if you just hope, dreams can come true and lead to happiness for the rest of your life. When I got home from school, I was really melancholy because we had to get rid of him, because I thought we had to get rid of him. But when I figured out we were adopting him, I could have exploded with the happiness I felt right then. My parents are good at surprising us like that. Nothing is impossible. The word itself says, I'm possible. So when the impossible is done, it will lead to your happiness. Now I know dreams can come true, and things that seem impossible are only things that don't have solutions yet. So think big. So think huge and then see if you can make it possible. I think big just knowing that everything is possible, nothing is impossible. Dreams can come true, so dream a size too big and then grow into it. That's how I learned dreams come true and nothing is impossible. And if your dreams come true, then you will be flooded with happiness. I know about the hope that I had that led to the love that I feel from my dog Buddy, which then led to great happiness. That's why I want everybody to feel those feelings, because it will change their life forever. Because I know about it now, I try to make decisions that make others feel the happiness that I felt right then. Now that I know about hope and love, I try to make decisions for the happiness and better good of others, so that they can feel what I've felt and have hope and love in their lives forever. So remember, dreams come true and nothing is impossible.
My name is Keegan, and I believe that dedication is the key to success. That day I didn't think that anything abnormal would happen at the robotics competition, but something unexpected happened. I got there and it turns out math counts was during the competition. So we got there and we only had about 1/4 of our normal amount of people. When Mr. Frisk, the robotics teacher, got there, he told half the kids that were there that they couldn't drive because they weren't going to the practices. So we were using only about 1/8 of our normal team. We were really low on people for that competition and we really needed more drivers, but Mr. Frisk would not let those kids drive. I was getting kind of frustrated because we had kids who hadn't even touched the controllers before driving the robot. But for our last match, for each team, we were using our best drivers, which made me happy because Timberline got 3rd place because of how many points we scored when they were our partner. Mr. Frisk had not let a few of our good drivers compete, so I was wondering how many points we could have scored if we had our best drivers. We were really low on people that day to help us win the competition, and we almost needed to have the other 6th graders help the 7th grade teams. I was exasperated that me and the other 6th graders couldn't drive. First Tech Challenge is the company that runs the robotics competitions. They have the competitions be for 7th to 12th graders only, so the 6th graders can't drive. We were trying to help as much as we could. We were taking videos and pictures to help us later. We were trying to help them add on wheels that fell off. And we were helping them come up with strategies to win. We were almost doing more than some of the 7th graders. I hoped as much as I could, but I still couldn't drive because I'm a 6th grader, and that really irritated me. Looking back, I realized I was frustrated with Mr. Frisk for doing the right thing. And I feel more understanding now. He punished people for thinking that they could skip robotics, and he let kids do new experiences.
The kids that he didn't let drive that day are now coming to practices more often now. Also, some of the people that he let drive that day are pretty good drivers now. He did the right thing. We still did better than we thought we would. I learned something at that competition. People who are dedicated are more successful in activities and in life. Ever since then, I've tried not to miss soccer, baseball, or robotics. I think being more dedicated has made me better in all of these things. I have better ball control in soccer, I'm throwing better in baseball, and I'm contributing more in robotics and other activities. We all became a better team and better people from this experience. I believe that being dedicated makes you more successful and a better person.
I believe that creativity can help you every day. I didn't know that one day at dance could teach me a lesson about how important creativity is. I walked into my summer dance class. It was a lyrical class, but the teacher, Allie, said we would be doing improv, which is coming up with your own dance on the spot. I was feeling pretty nervous because usually when we do improv, I only do a few moves like leaps, pirouettes, and battements because I usually can't think of anything else to do, and I don't like it when other people watch me dance. Allie turned on the music, and at first I felt shy, and I was sticking to my normal moves, but then I started actually dancing using moves I usually wouldn't, like rolls on the ground, flaute turns, and pas de chasse. I liked it so much that I was sad when the music stopped. It was a superb feeling of creativity and pride and confidence, and when she started the music again, I started dancing right away. I learned that having creativity brings out the best in me. Furthermore, lessons in creativity can be learned through dance, even if they start as worry and shyness. At first I was shy because I didn't know what other people would think of my own creativity. I used to be worried people wouldn't like what I did with my creativity or think I'm a bad dancer, but now I don't care. I like being creative because it makes me confident in myself, and letting my creativity out and seeing what I do with it makes me feel proud. Feelings of worry turned to confidence that day when I started to dance. Now when someone says think outside of the box, I don't get worried that I won't have a good idea. Even at school, having creativity has helped me. When I need to come up with a creative idea for a project, I know I can, because now I'm confident in my creativity. For science, I needed a project idea, and being creative, I came up with a good idea. I now know that having creativity brings out the best in me. It makes me proud when I create something. This lesson in creativity gives me confidence in myself that I can come up with a good idea whenever I may need it. When I look back on this day, I feel proud of my confidence in showing creativity. I now feel proud. I was so happy and proud of myself that day, knowing that I did something I usually wouldn't do with my creativity. Now I like having creativity to use because I can do some really cool things with it. Being creative makes me proud. I believe that creativity is something that can help you every day, no matter who you are.
I believe that dedication and hard work are key things when accomplishing goals. I didn't know going into that weekend, but during this tournament in Kansas City, I was going to learn a lesson about dedication. I was in Kansas at a soccer tournament. I wasn't sure how good of a team we would face. We were in the first division of the hardest tournament in the Midwest. I was at the game warming up. I knew hard work was essential to beat this team. The game started, and my coach put me at right back, which is one position I do not like. I knew I had to work with my team so we would all do well while playing a hard tournament. Even though we lost, my team still worked so hard. After that good and tough game at the end of the day, I learned that playing a hard game takes a lot of dedication. I felt very nervous about this game at the beginning, but during the game, I felt confident. At the beginning of this game, I felt very hesitant because they looked like a great team. We were warming up for our game. Everybody was messing around. Then our coach called us in to tell us the starting positions. I played right defender. I hate defense, except center back. The game started and I didn't know how to play there. I was very nervous. As the game was underway, my feelings started to shift from being nervous to confident because my coach subbed me in and put me in a position I love, and my feelings changed. Even though I was very frustrated and nervous during the match, I was feeling confident. Now, after this tough tournament, I learned that dedication is key in any sport, and especially soccer. Now when I play soccer, I always give everything I got. When I play games and there's a striker trying to get past me, I'll do anything it takes to try and stop them. Even when I play sports and PE, I always try and do my best. Now when I play soccer with my team, I always keep dedication in mind. Now I feel confident because of the lesson I learned about dedication. I feel that playing a sport can teach you a lot about dedication because while you are playing a sport, you feel competitive to win. Most of the time, you want to have fun. So when you play a sport, you give all you got in a nice and friendly way. And now I feel that I'm competitive in a nice way. Even though you want to have fun while playing sports, you also need to put a bit of dedication in mind if you want to win. I believe that dedication can help you achieve your goals in sports.
We have 10 people watching us now. If the bell rings, let's let Lance finish.
Hi there, my name is Lance Lewis, and the story I will learn is success and a more positive outlook on life. It was a cold winter morning as I walked to the bus. Little did I know my self-esteem was about to boost by about 1,000% by being in 2 awesome, successful speeches. I knew I had 1 speech, but little did I know that I would have 2 speeches and learn an important lesson on how to be successful. It was B-Day, 6th period, speech and drama. We had been preparing for our second speech for about a week. Today was the day for the first people to give their speeches. Of course, I did not know that at the time. One of my best friends told me that they were today, so everyone crowded this sign to sign up first or to go last. I was one of the last people to sign up, but I was still able to go 4th, so I signed up for 4th. A couple hundred words later, it was my turn. I got up there and spoke. Of course, I had to get my energy out on stage by dancing, obviously. As I spoke, my words turned into dancing, which then turned into screaming, which then turned into crying, which finally turned into laughing. Everyone in the room was amazed at how awesome the speech was. Now the period was over and it was time for science. The previous night, I pulled a till 9er to get this short presentation finished. I had the second to last presentation. After 30 minutes, it was my turn. I got up there and spoke just as I rehearsed it. He said, "Nice presentation," and that was success. I felt awesome that I dominated both my speeches. As I walked to the front of the stage in my speech and drama speech, I felt worried that it wouldn't be any good, but as I looked into the crowd, a sense of numbness filled me like a helium balloon. As I floated above my nervousness, I looked to the crowd, and the rest just came naturally. In my science presentation, my feelings were more sinister. What if he doesn't like it? What if I screw up? What if it's too long or too short? What if aliens came and kidnapped everyone? I'd get an S, right? I mean, they'd have to. We wouldn't have any school anymore. At the end of the day, I masked my feelings and did 2 really good speeches. Amazingness. I gave 2 astonishing speeches. Now I have a larger self-esteem and brighter outlook on life because of the speeches. So the other day, I was nervous to wear my new pair of shoes because I was scared that people would make fun of me. After the speeches, I was not afraid to wear the new shoes, and I'm happy I did because I got tons of compliments on them. They were just haters, and haters gonna hate. Thank you, speeches. I now have a larger self-esteem in a good way that's not overly cocky. Now when I look back on that glorious day, I feel successful. Just this morning, I looked in the mirror and saw a kid with friends, a good home, and good grades. So with that positive attitude, I walked out the door feeling a sense of pride. So as I walked to school, I saw my best friends. I felt excited to start a new awesome day. Now when I think of those speeches, I feel pride and success. On that day, I had 2 awesome speeches, felt good about them both, and then now I'm able to take a lesson from those speeches. Thank you.
Dude, Lance's speech was amazing.
That's good. Your essay was very
Does she know that they can't see
It doesn't look close when you look at it.
Very odd.
I had to because it shows it backwards.
And then there was a guy named Stamos, and he was like, it's like a weird angle though.
It's a mirror.
Oh.
You want to say hi?
How are you? Ready?
10.
8. Oh, hello.
Does anybody want to say hi?
Hi. Hi. Come on, fitness, everybody, fitness. Fitness, you gotta get fit. Gotta get fit. In this, we will show Henry how to actually do a proper push-up.
No, later, much later. Okay, let's get ready. I think we're ready for Claire. Pujit, will you shut the door, please? Do you want to say hi to your mom and dad?
Hello.
PP?
Okay, do we start? Okay. I believe that even through hard times, you need to have strength and power through it. I didn't know it that morning, but I was going to learn a big lesson about staying strong throughout the hard times. That morning, I woke up to my sister frantically searching for her phone. My sister had show choir that morning, so she had to leave. But then my mom came into the bathroom where I was getting ready and asked me if I knew where my phone was. I said no, that I had left it on the charger the night before. So we soon noticed that my dad's phone was missing, and so was my mom's wallet and a package that we were about to send. At this point, we were getting pretty worried. My dad had accidentally left the garage door open the night before, and we all came to the conclusion that we had been robbed. We called the police, and someone came and gave us a case number and investigated and said he would look into it. I had a rough morning, but I had to pull myself together and stay strong. As a result, I was pretty worried all day because of what had happened. When I was at school, all my friends were asking what happened, and when I got home, I found out that we all got new phones, and I was happy, but I also knew that I would lose all my pictures, contacts, and much more. I was very worried for my parents also because they were very stressed out about what happened. My worry continued, but I knew that I had to be strong for the sake of my parents and our situation. I now know that even in the hard times, you need to be strong for the sake of everyone around you. I've used this lesson in strength because I know how to react when this happens, and I know what to do when I get into situations like I did that day. After that, I now have a little more experience in the hard times. I know how to react more than I did before. I'm still afraid because of what could have happened, but I'm very grateful that nothing worse happened. I now know what it feels like to be very, very afraid, but I'm very gratified that nothing worse happened. I feel very lucky, and I have learned that you need to be strong and help others because sometimes others aren't as fortunate. I learned a big lesson about fear and strength that day. I believe that even when things get bad, you need to have strength.
Hello, I'm Henry, and this is my story thing. Okay, I was very excited for soccer tryouts this week, but little did I know that these next 3 days I would learn determination and what it takes to complete your goals. First day of preparation was not what I expected, but it was the first of 3 parts that would contribute to teaching me a lesson in determination. Being woken up at 8 o'clock in the morning is not what I wanted on the first day of 3 that I would prepare for VSA tryouts. Today, my dad took me outside. The air smelled like seesaw and it was a perfect day to be outside. But of course, I had to spend the day kicking basketballs. After a while, I had gotten the hang of it, and my dad played goalkeeper while I kicked across the beautiful green grass. Before I went inside to have lunch, my dad yelled across the yard, "Tomorrow we're going to have to practice ball control until 2 o'clock, so make sure you're ready to go by 9. I decided I wasn't hungry. The first day made me feel fatigued after all that happened. That first step to determination was not that bad. The next 2 days were the same, but their part in my journey to determination was big, and the feeling of beholden had also taken place. But when I got to the tryout fields, I started thinking more about what could have happened if my dad didn't help me. The new word that came to my mind now when I think of that day is beholden. After the first day of soccer tryouts was over, I could already tell that if I made the team, that it would be because of those 3 days of kicking basketballs and working on juggling and other many drills. So to justify that first day of tryouts, in the end I felt interpreted. The second day was not any different than the first, except that I had just noticed that the coaches had clipboards and were looking at our every movement. But after I had completed those 3 steps, I knew that determination had took part in this and had led the way for me. As you could tell, that made me uneasy, but I made it through the day 2 better than day 1. So when I got the letter 2 weeks later that I made the team, I knew that my dad had been the cause of it. So as soon as I read the letter, I called him on my phone and told him thank you for all he did. But good feelings like beholden had started to pop up as the tryouts had gotten closer. Now they were over, I was filled with tons of emotions over the last week. But in the end, they were all positive. Now I use this memory to remind myself that I have done something that others can't, and that I didn't just accomplish it by luck, but it took practice and determination. Not only do I use this to remind myself that, but now that I can be more determined when I go into games thinking that I will do well, that I deserve to be there, and I don't need luck to win games, but I need confidence that my determination gave me. So every time I leave a game, lose or win, I know that I tried my hardest, and maybe it wasn't enough for a win, but it was enough. Because I know that my best is what got me on this team, and it is what will keep me on this team. When I think back on what happened, I now feel beholden of all the mixed feelings that took place because they kept me through the whole thing. Even weeks after tryouts, I was thinking about those days of training, and now I have been thinking about what I could have done differently, because at the time, Dad cared more about my training than I did, and he probably didn't feel too good about it. So I guess I wasn't the only person that had a few feelings those few days. When I think about this now, I realize that determination isn't the only thing that got me through those few days. I now realize that I had to be interpreted, but also felt beholden at one time, but different at other times. Also, I felt scared worried a little too much. But in the end, I was in the right position to improve on this team, and the only feelings I could have now were good ones.
Hello, I'm Ben, and this is my This I Believe essay. I believe that determination is the key for answering problems in sports and sometimes in everyday life. That day, I thought it was going to be a normal soccer game. I had no idea I would learn a lesson in determination. When I got to the fields, I learned that 4 people were sick and 3 could not be there. So we only had 3 people to play when we had that play rival and we had to have 5 people on the field. The refs decided to let us play. The game was over. I was charged up. We had won 9-6. I scored 6 goals and saved 2 more. I was only 6 years old. That's why we had 5 people on the field. But I could tell this was going to be the best game of soccer I ever played. It might even be the biggest game of sports I would ever play. I was very tired, but I knew that determination had led us to victory. I knew that my teammates also used determination to win. My parents were praising our effort and our victory. Ever since that game, I always have determination ready. If we were playing a team better than us, I always had determination. I also use determination in other sports to win. If they are team sports or single sports, I still use determination. Today, I still use it, but now basketball is the only team sport I play. But I still use determination to win in golf and tennis. I feel proud now when I look back on that day. I felt proud because I was able to use those skills to bring my team to victory. Another reason that I felt proud was because the teammates I played usually sat on the bench. That made me feel prouder because they got to play, and I knew I was playing with players that are not always as good as other players on my team. I think I have proved that I believe in determination and that determination can solve some of your biggest problems.
Hi, my name is Pujit, and I'm going to share my This I Believe essay. I believe that no matter how big the obstacle, love will always get us through anything in life. I was still a kid, but that day I learned that love is the only thing that can get us through the death that changed the simplicity of my life. We were at my grandma's funeral. My sister and I wanted to get up in front of with my parents, but my older cousins were blocking me. Since I was little, I was confused as to why these people were crying. I was trying to cheer them up, but it seemed impossible for them to even look at me. What I don't realize was that my grandma had just died, and that day was the funeral of her death. Love is the only thing that can get us through the death of our loved ones. I felt like I did not belong in the family during the funeral. I do not remember a time when my parents were interested in something more than me and my sister. I thought that some aliens came to brainwash my parents' minds to not like me anymore. But when I saw my grandma being put into big blocks of wood and put fire on her, I started to cry. Finally, my parents looked at me and my mom picked me up while my dad picked up my sister. I felt like I was an ant left outside in the colony. Now, when we are going through a bad day, I never doubt love to get us through our obstacles in life. Ever since my grandma's death, my family has been going through a lot of hard times together. But no matter how big the problem, the love factor was the only thing that made us get through. Love does not only work for my family, it works for every single family in the universe, no matter what population, caste, or lifestyle. I never doubt that love will get us through a course time. Now I feel grateful that I have all the love in the world that I need. I still feel afraid and scared about my grandmother's death, but now I know that I have all the love in the universe that I need. I feel like I am the center of the universe. Whenever I want to, I can get my parents' attention. Even if I don't need them, I stick with them in hard times. I have all the love in the universe I need for an infinite number of years, and I am grateful to have it. I believe that love is the only thing that can break the impenetrable obstacle for us bigger than the universe.
I believe that even in the toughest times, hope can be found. I thought it was an ordinary last week of school. I had no idea of the lesson of hope I was about to receive. I was getting ready for a party we were about to have, then suddenly, out of nowhere, I got called down to the office. I was totally and completely unprepared. My mom didn't tell me I was leaving early, so I went to the office with all my stuff. I was a little sad I had to leave the party, but I was mostly curious about why I was going there. I got down to there just to see my aunt standing there. Yes, I knew my parents took my sister to the hospital the week before, but it was just to get a feeding tube in, nothing serious.
put in. Nothing serious. I expected my grandpa to be there, not my aunt. Then she came in and took me to the car. I had no idea where we were going. Then, as I looked, I saw in horror. We were in the hospital. We would not go there unless something bad happened. Questions ran through my mind. Then we went to the elevator. We walked out and saw my parents in the waiting room. I did not know if I should be happy or sad. This is the first time I had seen my parents in weeks, but I also saw they had tear stains on their faces. We sat down and my aunt hugged my parents. I was so confused. Then the dreaded news came. Hazel had just had a brain injury. I was devastated. My eyes stung with tears. How could this be? You always think this stuff always happens to someone else. Then we waited for a long time. We saw her. It was sad, but I was so glad she was alive. A long summer later, she is now able to hold her head up by herself. I learned that hope is a good thing to have, even in the worst scenarios. I thought it was going to be an ordinary day. Boy, was I wrong. When my mom told me about Hazel's sickness, my heart split in half. I could not believe my ears. How could this happen to me? How could this happen to her? But as she progressed every day, my heart fixed itself and may have even grew. Now that I know what showed me hope on that fateful day. Since then, everything that is bad in my life, I always think of hope. Now I am always looking for a way to make bad situations better, thanks to a little problem. Even when it seems hopeless, I will always have hope, thanks to my loving family and my sister. I have always been able to stay hopeful, even when times are tough. I can stay happy, even when things go wrong. After this experience, I felt hope in all directions. I've gone through a lot of hard times in my family. My friend has moved away. My parents have gone on a lot of trips to hospitals. I moved to a new school. But after this experience, I know that I can always have hope, even in horrific situations. I am so happy to be able to see her every day. Now, when I feel like there is no hope, I remember Hazel's story and I have hope.
I believe that determination can help you overcome any barriers in life. Last year, because our computer wasn't working, I was getting late for an online math competition, but little did I know that I would learn a lesson on determination. We were traumatized almost. Only 15 minutes and then the test would end, and I needed to take it. But little did I know that determination came with me throughout the whole journey, and I finished my test with determination, and hey, it paid off. I got first place on the whole test. I learned that determination travels with me anytime, anywhere. Given all these points, it made me feel relieved that determination will always be there for you and me no matter the size, strength, or specialty you have. Though I was very tense, I felt a little bit of determination flow into my heart. Even I didn't know that it just went into my heart unexpectedly. Sometimes you don't feel it, but you have determination. In conclusion, the determination in my heart remained with me throughout the whole time in my life. To this day and forth, I use determination when I need it in my life. Remembering that time when I used determination to hold on through that time of tension, I always remember determination walks forth the journey with you. I also remember a short story of me having determination. Back when I was doing my second mile run this year in 6th grade, I was way behind all the other runners, but I did not let that stop me. I kept running on and I beat my time by 26 seconds. To end things, determination takes up a chunk of your life and you won't see it until it comes. Now I feel like being optimistic about having determination, even when it pains me to. With all my backstories on determination, I feel as if I am a strong and determined man. I also use determination in any test. My determination voyages like a spaceship on a mission and an ant trying to eat picnic food. I presume that determination is a cannon that blasts through your barriers. Thank you.
I believe that creativity brings the best out of everyone. When I picked up my pencil and I started to sketch, I didn't know how important this lesson of creativity would be. When I was little, I drew for fun. I just drew for fun. But I did not expect what was going to happen when I started to sketch. I started to draw a flower, but I pitched it because I needed to make something different, more challenging and unique. Once the graphite hit the paper, I was lost in time. I was creating a masterpiece. I learned that being creative can get you lost in time. Overall, finding your inner creativity can be in anything, especially in art. I've never drawn a duck before, so I was nervous what my family would think about it. I colored it to make it prettier, so if I made a mistake, they would just be staring at the colors. So I went up to show my mom, and she loved it. I was so proud of myself. I started to draw ducks nonstop. I had an addiction to it. Usually, if you're nervous, you're just excited to share something to someone else. Furthermore, whenever I'm having a bad day at drawing, I cheer myself up with drawing ducks. I use this lesson because when I draw ducks, my creativity goes up. I make all my ducks unique in their own way. I never get bored when I'm in my happy place when I'm drawing. Ducks make me calm when I'm mad. It is a passion for me. It brings out the very best in me. Creativity always gets me nervous, but I know it will turn out good. Even when I look back at the story, I know how people are imperfect, and that is a good thing. Now that I am a more advanced drawer, I get frustrated if it's not perfect, but I realize it's okay to be imperfect at something. It's what makes us different and unique in our own way. It's fine to stand out from the crowd. I learned that it's fine to be different and imperfect. I believe that creativity can bring out the best in everyone in unique ways.
Good job, honey. You can answer these questions.
I believe creativity and curiosity combined will make you a better thinker. I learned about how curiosity will inspire creativity and make you a better person. I was painting a picture of a peacock, and I was looking at a very realistic photograph as a reference to paint. Being a perfectionist, I was not happy with what I had because it did not look like the picture. I got very frustrated and painted my whole canvas green. I was so angry, but I decided to be curious instead of letting the anger take over. After trying many things, I finally stuck with an abstract-looking tree. It wasn't the best thing I had done, but it was special because I used this new way of being creative and curious. I learned that lessons in art can bring out the best and worst in me. Furthermore, lessons in creativity and curiosity can be learned through art, even if they do start as anger and frustration. When I got ready to paint on my canvas, I took out the framed peacock photo that we had hanging in my room. It was the most beautiful and enrapturing creature I had ever seen. With its graceful plume of emerald and green and golden feathers, all I wanted to do was paint that creature. I knew it was going to be hard, but I was a good artist compared to others. I stared at the sketch. It was good. It looked close to the peacock in the photo. I started painting, and I was excited that I thought I had this potential. I thought this painting had the potential to be one of the best paintings I have ever made. The excitement quickly faded away. I became unsatisfied with what I had done so far. All I wanted to do was scrap this painting and be done. But I couldn't. Canvases were very expensive, and a set of 5 were $20 each, and I knew my parents would be mad at me if I left it unfinished. I became very frustrated and angry, so out of vexation, I painted the whole canvas green. I decided to take a little break from the painting and turn it into something else. Afterwards, I decided to turn it into a tree. It wasn't the best tree, but I was proud of the creativity I had used. Feelings of happiness turned to anger, turned to pride as I was painting this picture. As a result, whenever I have a bad day, when nothing turns out how I want, I always try to be curious and creativity to get what I want. When I'm having a bad day and nothing seems to go my way, I try to remember this painting. I try not to let the anger get to me. There are millions of other people who have worse days than me, and I would advise those who are having a bad day to be creative and curious. Creativity isn't only for dancers and artists. It can be used in everyday situations like at school or at your house. This lesson in creativity and curiosity gave me less pain and anger whenever I am frustrated. Now I feel less stressed out and happy whenever I'm put in these situations. I now know that when I'm put in these situations, when the perfectionist side of me wants to take over, I just remember this lesson. This lets me work at my full potential instead of feeling angry. I feel proud and happy. Being creative and curious lets me be a happier version of myself. I believe that curiosity and creativity will help you be a better person. I believe that through tough times, family can help you learn a very important value, hope. I didn't know yet, but for the next month or so, I would need to have a lot of hope. That morning, I woke up and went downstairs. My mom sat there with a bad look on her face. She told me that her orange cat, Casey, had ran out the night before and had not come back. Casey was an outdoor cat, but whenever we let him out, he would always come back. I knew that we had to believe so then Casey could come back. Later that month, I was coming home from basketball practice, and my mom stood there holding a cat. I thought it was my cat Miles, but then when the cat turned his head, I saw it was Casey. Everyone in my family helped each other pull through and find hope deep within us that we could find Casey. After Casey had left, I was apprehensive that he wouldn't come home and scared that something bad had happened to him. After the first week, my mom started getting worried, so then I started to doubt that Casey would come home. But people tried to cheer me up. The days went by and that feeling started to sink in. Everyone tried to help, but that feeling didn't leave. As feelings of being scared and worried started to sink in, I started believing in hope. Furthermore, now that I know that you can love something, there is still a possibility that you could lose it. During that moment, I was very sad, and so was my family. But since then, I have loved my cats more and have given them a lot of attention. I am more careful being around them and treasure the moments I am with them because the next moment I know that they could be gone. This lesson helps because now I know that there is a chance that you could love something and it might leave, but you still love things and have hope. Finally, now, whenever I see my cat, I believe that good things can still happen, and I felt gratified that people helped us. When I wake up in the morning, I feel grateful to see all my cats there downstairs happy. My mother is also contented that someone did call and help her find her cat. Everyone in my family is more grateful now and that we have our whole family together, and we are more careful paying attention to them and giving them what they need. I'm grateful that there are very kind people that helped us get Casey home and help our family come closer together. I believe that staying positive and having hope by your side, you will be okay.
Everyone has knowledge because everyone has a different talent. I abominated reading back then. I was going to learn knowledge, a big part of my life. I went to the store. After that, I was forced to read. It was one of those days when I was small. My mom got me a big book full of facts, dates, and stuff. I learned a lot. It was at that month when I became smart. Everyone called me a genius for 4th and 5th grade. That felt well. I was put on most advanced groups. We had a yearbook election, like with fashionista, nicest smile, most athletic, etc. I got hardest worker. After that, school was over. I learned to like reading. I couldn't wait to read over the summer. I didn't feel very strongly about reading back then. Like I said, I hated reading back then. I thought it was boring. I just couldn't find an interest. But there is a book for everyone. I found a book that interested me. I felt happy. After that, I loved to read. I use knowledge almost every day. Everyone has a knowledge of some sort. It brings a smile to my face when someone calls me a genius when I say something scientific. I'm always happy when I get a book about science, history, math, etc. Sometimes I get a book about humor, adventure, fantasy, action, etc. I read nearly every day. I feel like I'm needed when people need my knowledge. I use my knowledge nearly every day. I need it to be alive because without knowledge, you don't exist. I get a lot of nonfiction books so I know more facts. I'm glad with my largesse. I believe knowledge is a talent. What kind of knowledge do you have?
I believe that through hard work and determination, you can have success. As I hear, speak, and think, I realize the learning journey that has consisted of hard work, determination, and success has taught me that the combination of these three can work miracles. When I was 8, I had a speech problem. I had always been denied help for many reasons, but a miracle happened, and that was just beginning. After a conference in the winter with the woman foreign to me, I was granted a wish I had wanted for many years: speech therapy, a once-in-a-lifetime chance, and my parents and I decided that it would be a good choice, and we said yes. On my first day, I didn't know what to expect. When I walked into the room, my speech teacher opened up a file cabinet and pulled out 100 words with R's and W's. When I sat down, I started saying the words. When they sounded right, she would put them in the correct pile, and if they were not right, I would have to put them in my folder and take them home. Every night, I would practice the words she had given me that day. Every night, after hours of practice, I had finally reached success, learning about hard work and determination. After At that time, the hours of my practice did not make a difference, but over time it would finally work, and even though it was hard emotionally. I felt very frustrated when I did not get the word the first time. I had to meet certain criteria to get the word right, and I was forced to try again. Even when after a while, I would get the word right and have the sweet feeling of success. That feeling was the best feeling in the world. It was hard, but the feeling of little victories carried me through my journey. Now, I usually do not mess up with my speech, but sometimes I do, and when I slip up, it makes me very frustrated with myself, but I know that next time I will succeed. I think of all the work I had to put in so that I would not have as many miscues. So when I do slip up, I think in my head all the times I have said it right, and I make sure that I know it happens, but it can get better. Now when it is hard, I don't give up right away, and I think of this time in my life and remember that I have had success, and when I work hard, I can achieve anything. Now I feel very grateful that I had the opportunity to have help. Every day I feel so lucky because I know I do not have as many miscues as I used to, so I am more confident around other people. I'm also grateful because I'm able to speak clearly and not be barred. I'm also happy just to have a normal speaking voice. I am very grateful that hard work and determination has given me success. Anything is possible when you have a mixture of hard work and determination, so you can have success.
I believe that with cooperation, anything is possible. I was on my way to Camp Matigua, but little did I know that what I would learn about cooperation during my stay. To begin with, Camp Matigua is a Boy Scout camp out in the woods, and you sleep in tents out in the woods. You cook the food that the troop brings. We do activities. It's also really fun. Every month we go on a 3-day camp out in Camp Matigua. We got there at about 7 o'clock p.m. and got everything unloaded and started to put up our tents. It was very cold there. My tent mates and I got up at 4:50 and 5 o'clock and got everything cleared up for our tent. We were outside of our tent, and we were asked to get firewood for you guessed it, fire. We went and got the wood and came back to where we were camping. A little later, we were standing in lines for flags, which is the Pledge of Allegiance. We had a certain place in the campgrounds. We got a compass and a map, and we had 45 minutes to use the map and compass to find our first station. We didn't have a compass, so we got one from the camp leader. It took us about 30 minutes to get there. There was a lot of disagreement about which way to go. It took all of us to find the right way to go. Our large group split into groups. I was with Fernando, and he was the one who got it right. We got to our station second. The second station went better. We all worked together with the compass this time and got there first. We learned a valuable lesson that day. Cooperation can do anything. I felt frustrated at first, but then it got better. I felt very frustrated because no one would listen to me and my ideas. My group kept fighting over which way was right. I tried to talk, but I was drowned out by other people in my group. I was the only one who listened to me, and Fernando and I got everyone to listen. Then we all worked together and listened to everyone's ideas, and we finally found our way to the first station. Eventually, our group agreed and listened to all of our ideas. I used this lesson in future times when one person just wasn't enough. We were building a fort in our house when suddenly it all fell down. The reason being we didn't have enough people helping. When I was watching my brother and sister build it, I remembered what cooperation worked in Boy Scouts, so I started to help. It worked very well, and the result was pretty good. When one isn't enough, ask for help and collaborate with others.
Okay, so we want to thank you for being with us today. So I'm going to turn the camera around on the students. They're ready to wave goodbye to you. Thank you for being a part of our live sharing today, and we'll try to do this again soon.
Keep her straight. Next time on Fitness with Henry, we'll also learn.
Give someone else a chance to.
Dang it, Pujit, get off. Yeah, they're like, it's me.
Do you want to wave goodbye?
Oh, Lance, get off me.
Bye, Mommy.
I want to give my speech to my mom and my dad. And
I don't wait. There's 7 viewers.
Girls?
And my speech.
Hi, buddy.
Okay, we'll visit again with you soon. I would like your essay back. We're done. We stopped.
Oh, can you push the viewers?
Wait.
Follow me on Instagram. Yeah.